Welcome to the Cartoon Club. My name is Jack. Before we get started with this video, I just want to say thank you everybody for subscribing to my channel. I've now reached 300 subscribers, so I couldn't be more chuffed. Thank you everyone who's clicked that button. And please keep subscribing, please keep liking these videos. The more these videos are liked, the more the algorithm sort of passes it on to everyone else. So thank you everyone who's done it so far, but yeah, please keep subscribing. Let's hope we can get to 1,000. That'll be the next big goal. Now on to the video. What we're going to be drawing is Jack Skellington and Sally from the film Nightmare Before Christmas. I've already started with this circular plate because this will be the sort of yellow moon that you see iconically in the film. So this will be the background. Everything will be black around it. And what we're going to be placing is Jack and Sally in the center of that circle, and maybe Zero, the dog, down at the center. So today I've got a 2-camera mount as well, so I'm going to see what it's like to film from 2 different angles. And now we're going to be moving on to the 2 characters. So I'm going to place in Sally into this part of the circle here. So all we're doing is we're placing in a circle for the head. We need to determine how big the bodies are going to be. So the head's going to be the main part of this drawing today. Quite a large circle because all the Tim Burton characters are quite large-headed. Then we want her gazing up towards Jack. So we're going to be placing a line going diagonally across. This will be the direction that the eyes and nose are going to be placed on. Then we're going to place a slight line across here. This will just show where the actual eye line will be placed across. So the eyes will be going into this spot here. And then from here, what we're going to be doing is adding in the neck. So quite a long neck on Sally. And then we're going to be placing in the shoulders. And then we're going to be curving these 2 points because this will be where the arms then connect to. And then we'll place a line going across just to mark where the front of the torso is. So this is sort of the center line of the torso itself. And then what we're going to do is move on to Jack Skellington. So we're going to be placing in a circle that's higher up, same sort of size circle as well, because we want to create the idea that the characters are in the same place. And then we're going to place a long neck on his as well. And we're going to be placing in a curved body this time, not a straight line like on Sally's. And then we're going to be placing in a line going diagonally downwards, because we now want Jack facing down, and a line going across the page as well. And then from there, we're going to be placing in all the details that we need to for the character. So if we place in Sally's details, we'll be creating a thicker neck for Sally. So using that template that we've got, we're just going to be adding in 2 curved lines. So almost, it's like bowing inwards. And we're going to be placing in a curved line on either side of that neck, because this will be where the shirt is, or the dress collar. The sleeves on Sally are separate from the dress because they're stitched on. So we'll be creating another line sort of mirroring this curved line, but on the other direction. This will be her left sleeve. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, but this side it will be a smaller gap because the body's tilted away from us. Later on, when it comes to inking, we'll add in all the details for the stitch work. And now onto the head. We're going to be placing in the hair of Sally. So we're going to start a little bit higher up than the circle that we've done, because we want their hair to be placed on the head itself. So we're just creating a line following this curve slightly, and then from then on it will just be going down at an angle towards her sleeve. Then we want to just continue that towards the circle of the head. And her hair's quite large, so going past the circle, we're going to create a line going down, and then we're going to have it disappear towards the neckline. And then we want to create a bit of hair going over that circle. So if we start with the top of that circle that we drew earlier, and then continue a line going across. So those 2 lines should come together. And she does have a parting, so we're just going to add in a line here. When it comes to detailing that later, we'll emphasize that line. The characters look almost deathly, so the nose usually mimics what a sort of a deceased body will look like. Quite a very thin nose, very thin details. So the thinner that point, sharper the point is as well, the better. And we'll just add in the 2 eyes as well, so very large eyes on Sally. We're using that center line just to place where those eyes are. With the character, the ends of the eyes almost come to a point. So the front bit's very round, and then it comes to that sort of point at the back. And then we want to create in just one more line above this. This is sort of the eye socket. And between this eye and the eye socket, there will be the eyelashes. So I'll draw that one later. But first, if I go to the mouth, we'll just add in a curved line just because we want her to be happy. And we want quite pouty lips. So the top of the lips, it's called a Cupid's bow in this section here, because it's sort of bow shaped. So it sort of jumps up and then down, and then jumps up and down on this side as well. And then the bottom is just a rounded line there at the bottom. Then we want to add in a line going further than that mouth, because that's where her stitches are placed. So we want to add in a line on either side. What we're going to do now is just add in some more lines as well. So there's a line going across the neck. So sort of where that circle is, there's a line going across that part of the neck. And then the neck is separated into 2 lines down at the bottom. And then there's one more line that sort of disappears into the collar. And onto the eyelashes that I said earlier, they'll be split into sort of V shapes. To make it simple when puppeteering, they try and simplify all the details that they can. So with eyelashes, they usually just stick 2 going off like that, but we want a couple. So just imagine 4 V's going across. And then with that side, we can't draw all 4, but if we draw 3 just to emphasize where they are. And we'll draw in some of the lines here for the stitch work on the dress, so they're just simple lined marks, and the same on the other sleeve as well. And then with the actual stitches on the body, it's the same approach, so it's just some lines of different various thicknesses and lengths. The more varied the lengths, the more natural the scars look. In some tiny lines on the mouth. That's just to show that there's some stitches on her mouth, keeping her mouth together. And the last thing on Sally is just adding in the little pupils that she has. So they're very small, tiny pupils. That's another sign of a sort of a dying character. Their eyes get very dilated, very small. So later on, I'll be erasing all the stuff that's inside this gap, because then it will then flesh out that character a little bit more. But if we firstly go on to Jack Skellington, his is even more simplistic really. So we'll add in the nose. So with the nose, there's no actual bit of flesh there. It's just 2 lines. They'll be fleshed out now just by rounding that and creating a sort of seed kind of shape, like a sesame seed or a burger seed. And what we're going to do is add in the eyes. So the eyes are just 2 large circles again. But with Jack, the difficulty drawing his character really is that they're hollow. So the approach can either be drawing them in completely black or adding in a bit of detail to sort of emphasize where he's looking. So that's entirely up to you which way you want to go with that one. And we want to add in the mouth now. So it's just a curved line, quite large, sort of almost past his eyes, towards the back of his skull. And then we want to open that mouth just ever so slightly. So if I just have another line sort of following that first line we drew, do is just add in some lines for the almost like the bone texture, but they have to be the same on the top and the bottom lip. So usually what I do is just draw a line going straight down through the whole thing, and it helps me to determine whether it's straight or not. I don't have to guess where the line is compared to that bottom line. And when it comes to removing the inside, erasing the inside, it then clears that line and creates 2 clean lines above and below the mouth. And we're going to add in the neck of Jack Skellington, so it's the same approach we did with Sally. He's now got a centre as well, so I'll just draw the centre line in for him. And on his one, he's got a bat as a collar, so we need to add in a big sort of circle at the front on that centre line, because we know that that bat is dead centre. We want to add in some ears, so it's just 2 pointed parts to that creature. Then he's got a collar that expands as well, like sort of bat wings. So we need to determine where the lines of each collar is. So the first 2 lines we'll bring upwards, and then we'll bring another line outwards, more straight. Don't worry if the lines go off the page, because it just sort of, it shows that the characters aren't just stuck in this page, they're sort of living outside of it as well. And then 1 more line at the bottom, that's just going to fan towards the bottom. So you got a top fan, straight fan, and a bottom fan. And he's got a collar as well, so we'll just add in a curved line going around that bat. And then we're going to add in the lapels to the collar, so the sort of fabric parts of a collar that you usually get in like a gentleman's suit. We need to flesh out the bow itself. So with the bow, we need to create more lines just to join each of these longer lines up, and it creates a sort of bat-winged, like a dragon kind of expanding its wing. It's that sort of approach for the bow tie. And there's 2 little eyes in the bat, and they're sort of diagonal oval shapes. So we'll just add those 2 lines in. And when it comes to Jack's suit, it will be lined white lines on a black suit. So we'll just add in now what it would roughly look like. So when it comes to it later, what I'll be doing is colouring in the whole thing black and then using a white pen to get that white effect. So it's quite a simple approach to do that. And then just some vertical lines, just because that's what the rest of the suit's body is, just straight lines going down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place in 0 above, I think. So I'm just going to draw in the dog, the famous ghostly dog that they share. So with 0, it's more of a spirit, so it's quite free flowing, almost like fabric with that character. So what I want to do is draw in the head of 0. So the head is just a curved back, and then it comes to a curved point. The best way to compare this to something is like the genie's lamp in Aladdin, a sort of wide back and sort of curved taper. And then what we want to do is add in a circle at the front, that's 0's shining red nose. And then we want to add in this fabric of his body. So we start with joining it to the neck, and then we kind of make a curved line just flowing down. The more curved, the more it's sort of blowing in the wind. And then we want to curve that back around and then bring it back up towards the air. And then that then becomes its tail. So the tail, especially with Tim Burton, the curves are very emphasized. So the more curves you add, the better that character is going to become, more like Tim Burton-like. And then on the way back around, we're just expanding that curved line, starting from the point, getting larger, and then joining that with the body. 0's got some flowy ears, so we'll just add in some curved lines there. The more curved the better, because it's more like fabric, like I said. So the more curves you add in, the bigger the ears and the more sort of flowy they become. Making sure to emphasize those curves if we can. And 0's got 2 curved eyes, like the eyes on the bat. We're just going to create those sort of ovals. One oval's quite visibly in the center of the face, but one sort of on the side. And then we actually want to have Zero's mouth open. So if I add in a curved line downwards below that genie lamp head, curving it up slightly, and then back and making it disappear into that head itself. And then I'm going to erase part of this line at the back. So just adding in a line going parallel to that outside curve of the bottom of the mouth. So now we can see that Zero's mouth is opened up. And I'll just go in any final details that I see fit. So I know that Sally's shoulder has some vertical lines going down her left shoulder. And with this side of her body, there's not much here because it's kind of hidden by the collar. But what we'll do is we'll add in the curved circle lines that she has on that part of her fabric. So it's just doing whatever pattern you want, but basically they're swirled lines inside. So as long as you get sort of distinctive consecutive rings on her right side, that makes that design correct. And now what I'm going to do, from this point on, I'll be going into the time lapse of this. So if I turn one of these videos into a time lapse now. I'll just quickly show you that clearing that little gap in the middle, if I fill it all in just solid black, then it should erase those lines going through, and it then creates that nice little effect of the sort of hashed lines above and below his mouth. So just in case you thought that was a mistake, it's just a little trick just to help maintain the same lines going above and below an object. It'd be good for like zips as well. Things like zips would be a good thing because it would be the same object on either side. So yeah, I'm just going to go in with the last little bit of black on the bow tie, and then I'm going to get those white lines added in, and then that should be done. Okay, that is finished now. I'm just going to pop my signature on the bottom, and I just want to say thank you for watching this video. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed at the moment as well. I'm really glad that we've hit that 300 subscriber goal. Now, if you can please like this video and subscribe to my channel even further, that would be amazing. And if you can click the icon at the top, that will send you to the playlist of this current year's Halloween series. And I hope you have a nice day. Thank you for watching.